Serious, what is the creepiest, most blood-chilling thing you or someone you know have ever experienced? I was on a 15-hour bus trip from the Yucatan to Chiapas in Mexico with my family. It was late at night, and after several hours of driving we stopped at a gas station to go to the bathroom, grab snacks, etc. It would have been like any other trip, however I noticed there was an unusual amount of police. When we got back on the bus, the driver informed us that the police had received a tip that our bus was being targeted for a robbery by Mexican bandits. They would escort us. We drove for hours up a nauseatingly winding road on the side of a cliff. One police truck in front of us and one behind us, armed to the nines. I was on high alert, but after a while I dozed off. That was, until the bus came to an abrupt stop. I remember peering out the front window and seeing a series of large rocks placed strategically across the road. Everything was dark, save these rocks being illuminated by the bus lights. If the police hadn't been there, this is what would have went down. Step 1. Bus driver disembarks, tries to remove rocks. Step 2. Mexican bandits kill bus driver or holds hostage. Step 3. Bandits board bus. Step 4. Rob, rape, kill. I was 17 years old, white-looking female, I'm a healthy, and the rest of my family is Mexican, or looks full Mexican, and even then I knew what would have happened to me. Kidnapping for ransom would definitely not have been out of the question, and rape a high guarantee. We were in the middle of nowhere on a bloody fucking mountain. If the police weren't there, would I be here to tell this story? Probably not. When I was 16, my parents went out of town for a weekend. It was actually pretty sweet because I got to be king of the castle for the weekend. So I get home that Friday night and just stick around, internet, video games, etc. and start watching TV around dusk. The way our living room was set up was that there was a set of glass doors right next to the television that looked out to the back porch backyard. The backyard was surrounded by ivy that grew on a hill around a 45-degree angle. So I'm just mindlessly channel surfing and I see some movement outside. At first I just dismiss it thinking it's a bird or a neighborhood cat or something, but I then notice that whatever is moving is way bigger than a bird or a cat. I go and put my face near the glass and stare into the backyard, and there's some dude just crouching in the ivy looking into the house. Our eyes meet, and he has somewhat of an oh shit moment and bolts out of our yard. Scared the shit out me. So, this happened senior year of high school. My best friend and I were at her house, which was way up in one of the canyons, and she had a long, winding driveway. We had been there all day, and her mom had gone out, and she and I were supposed to go meet a couple friends in Hollywood that night. Anyways, we had been goofing around all day and watching scary movies at Wetnet, and we started to get ready. Her bathroom had one of those his or her double sink deals, so she was near one, and I was at the other. All of a sudden I got the creepiest feeling, like, all of the hair on my arms stood up and I had this sudden feeling of panic. To this day it is the most terrified I have ever been. I was putting on eyeliner when it happened, and I caught her eye in the mirror and said, "We need to leave. Right now." I thought she would be like, "What, you're being ridiculous," or what have you, but instead she said, "I know." My blood ran cold when she said it. We left so quickly that we just grabbed what was in front of us. We booked it out of her house and down the driveway, which we weren't supposed to be on. Her mom had just had it repaved and her car was parked down on the street. We rounded the curve in the driveway and there was an SUV parked dead center in the middle of the street without its lights on. Suddenly, the lights turned on full blast, the SUV blew its horn and took off. We scrambled the rest of the way down, totally ruining the new paving, and were getting into her car and calling the police when her mom pulled up right behind us. To this day, I do not know if it was a robber or what, but the fact that she and I both got the sense of dread at the exact same time creeps me out to no end. Man, that feeling of dread. I've only had it once, but I wasn't alone. I was working in retail liquor in a shop at the entrance to a mall. It was a Thursday night, and I was there with the manager who was a couple of years older than me. I was standing at the counter, doing some ordering when suddenly I got this feeling of ominous dread. It felt like a vice on my chest. I looked up and all I could see was people walking out of the mall with their shopping. No one out of the ordinary. The feeling didn't subside, and I was about to go and talk to the manager when she walked up to the counter and, without saying a word, took all the cash in the change tin and put it in the safe in the back room. She came out to the counter, looked at me, and said, "You feel that too?" We stood there for about 5 minutes as the feeling got worse and worse, and suddenly it was gone. It was like a breeze had blown it away. We both let out a massive sigh and went back to work. She then told me that she'd gotten that feeling once before when the store she was working at previously was robbed by a guy wielding a knife. That's why she moved the cash. I have no idea what caused it, but I like to think someone was about to rob us, but then decided not to. It was truly bizarre. This makes me want to share a story that was told to me by people I knew quite a while back. Hope you don't mind. This girl I knew worked at a Dunkin' Donuts, which was open kind of late. A guy came in and ordered something, nothing strange about it, and he wasn't acting weird or anything. This girl started to get this feeling like something was terribly wrong, but she didn't know why. It was so strong that she apparently decided to call the police, even though she had no concrete reason. The police show up and take a look around and eventually decide to search this guy's car for reasons that aren't entirely clear to me. I wasn't there after all. They actually found a young girl, late teens I think, tied up and gagged in the trunk of his car. Thank goodness for this girl's gut feeling and that the cops came by even though she really couldn't give a good reason. Who knows what would have happened to the girl in the trunk. I was able to confirm this story with the person it actually happened to, as well as her coworker. They showed me a news article about it and everything. Shit was wild. Quoted from my answer to the thread similarly, I was with my friend outside at 2 a.m. or so playing basketball on his street. All of a sudden, I get the feel of dread. I flick my eyes over at my friend and he is staring at me. I say let's go inside and he replied yay, let's get the fuck out of here. All of a sudden, I'm looking over his shoulder and there is a big car, Escalade suburban type, coming towards us. I turn around and there was one coming from behind me. We looked at each other again and instinct kicked in. There is a field to the side of his house with a chain link fence around it. We are both pretty large, 6 feet 220-ish, but we climbed up and over that thing so fast. We dashed across the field as 3 people jumped out of the 2 cars and headed towards the fence. We climbed over a second one just as the people got over the first one. There is a freeway right next to his house, so we climbed up the hill to get to it. We love climbing the hill, so it was easy for us, but the people had a hard time. We ran along the freeway well as they struggled to get up the hill. The part that almost turned me to stone though, as we were running, we heard a gunshot and leaves above us being whipped through. My veins turned to ice. We got enough of a lead to call the police. We looped back towards where we started, and the cars were still there. The police showed up and got the people as they tried to drive away. The 3 people chasing us consisted of 2 men, late 20s, and a woman, early 20s. They were wanted members of a crime ring that was kidnapping children and raping them plus using them for other things. Just thinking about it makes my blood chill and my arm hairs stand.